Hello and welcome to the Michael Shane Kelly Show. Yes, it's a whole different setup, whole different location. I know it looks different, but this is going to be an incredible time. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, so here I am with a very important guest today, and we are located on top of the, I want to say it's right, La Tiber Hotel, just outside of Rome. And you can see the beautiful view in the background. And with me, I've been hanging out with this guy for 2 days now. This is Rabbi Teek from Israel. Did I say all that right?
Yeah, perfect.
Wonderful. Well, our audience today will be learning more about you and, of course, our trip we've had for the last few days. And we just got back from here today. We was just meeting with the Jewish delegation here in Rome.
Right.
And it was incredible, I thought.
It was incredible. First of all, it's amazing, the opportunity to spend 2 days with you and your family, wonderful
Yes, sir.
family, and really to get to know better different sides of the world. It's an exposure. I speak English very well because my parents are from the States originally.
Yeah, okay.
When you use it in Israeli terms or Jewish terms, they made aliyah. Aliyah is to elevation. They moved to the Holy Land, to the land of Israel.
Yes, sir.
Being Jews that were living in the United States, and they decided to move to Israel for purposes of being part of what's going on today in the state of Israel. So I grew up totally Israeli, even though I speak perfect English. And
You do, very well.
thank you. And
I barely get it right.
and I really have two sides to me. I have the totally Israeli side, and I have a totally American side, which is very special and unique. So I get to really, in these kind of delegations, really get to know the world better.
Yes, sir.
Because I really grew up in Israel most of my life. So thank you.
I will say that we've been to Israel twice.
Right.
And it's absolutely stunning. My wife and I went there by ourselves one time, the first time, and we took our time. We got a car and just drove around. We saw so much. And the second time we went, we took a group from our church, about 50 people.
Wow.
And but to hang out with you the last couple of days and talk and get some history and get some connection has been really a wonderful experience. And so our audience today is who tune in to watch these episodes, they just really enjoy who I talk to and who I get to hang out with. And so you're one of those people. So
thank you.
We've had 2 days of to be blunt, I'm exhausted. I don't know if you feel the same way. We've been walking these streets of Rome a lot the last couple of days.
Right.
And between the sun and the heat, we're wore out. But we wanted to connect before he left and did other things. So tell me a little bit about, okay, so you're in Israel.
Right.
And I know everybody in Israel has to, at one point in time or another, serve in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. Was that your case as well?
So you mentioned something very important that I'm not sure everyone's aware about, but basically the army service in Israel is mandatory. It's mandatory for every man and woman. There are exceptions, but as a rule, it's mandatory in a sense that it's also it's a value that we teach. It's a value of bringing back to what you've been receiving. You've been receiving a lot throughout your adulthood, your upbringing, and now it's time to bring that to society. And basically, I enlisted to the IDF when like every average Israeli boy, at the age of more or less 18 plus, and after high school. And I served in a very serious and demanding unit, which I can't really say exactly which one, but it's a commando elite unit in the IDF. And I was involved in a lot of special operations, wars, unfortunately, that we've had throughout the years.
Yes, sir.
The second Lebanese war, 2006. Then we had many operations in Gaza, because we were been firing all the time in the south, also where I live, and also all over Israel. 2014 was Protective Edge, was a major operation in Gaza, and of course, if we're fast forwarding to today, October 7th, which I'm not serving in the IDF as currently as an adult. I have a career, I have a family.
Yes, sir.
I have a family of 7 children, Baruch Hashem. But I serve as a reservist. Okay. And basically, I'm sure you're familiar with the term, but in Israel, most of the Israelis are potential reservists that are just waiting for the call. And October 7th, unfortunately, we received that call, and I was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, we were there just enough to see for ourselves the constant threat that you guys live under.
Right.
Rockets come in, fire comes in, terrorists are always coming in. It's. I know we hear the stories where everybody wants peace, but the truth is, you need two groups of people to make peace.
Right.
And no matter how much one says, okay, we'll do this, it seems like one side's always launching stuff and creating havoc. And so,
Right.
the October 7th, which is a horrific scenario, I just what I've seen on the news, and I've heard from friends, and I have a close friend in Israel right now who also joined us online to tell us what was going on.
Right.
Was absolutely horrific. Can you give us an idea what that was like for you that day?
For sure. First of all, we started our morning. This was, for us as Jews, it was Shabbat.
Yeah.
And it was also Shabbat. It was also a holiday called Simchat Torah. Simchat Torah is the holiday that we celebrate the finishing all the major holidays that we have. Sukkot, which is a very festive holiday, and the 8th day is a holiday that we are just we finished the recital of the whole cycle of the Torah that we read every week, every Shabbat. We read a portion of the Torah and we finish it, and that's a very special celebration that we have. And the war started basically at 6 in the morning, 6 a.m. We're woken up by sirens, and now where I live in a very remote area in Israel, in a desert, beautiful area called Dimona, very strategic area. So immediately when we heard sirens, which are not normal, we don't usually receive sirens where we live, we understood that this is something very, very unusual. And even though I'm observant, and what we call, I keep Shabbat, I don't turn on my phone, I don't turn on electricity on Shabbat, but I understood it's an emergency, and this is probably a time of war, and I had to turn on my phone to understand what's going on. And when we got the picture, slowly more and more information was coming in of rumors and understanding that basically Israel has been invaded in a very serious way. And a lot of places were either taken over, people were slaughtered in their homes, burned alive, children, women were being raped. Horrific, really brings us back, unfortunately, to the dark days of history, which we've known almost 70 plus years ago of the Holocaust. Really gave some kind of flashback. Myself, my family are Holocaust survivors in somewhat, and we have a history of the horrific times that we've had as a nation. But there is a difference at this time that we actually have an army. It took us a couple of hours, it took us a couple of days, but we kind of immediately, snapped our fingers, wake yourself up, you're at war, you have enemies inside of your home.
Right.
These are not regular terrorists. They were called Nukhba terrorists. They were special forces, the Hamas. You should understand that you were talking about two sides. The people that we're talking about that were slaughtered, that were killed, that were begging for mercy, these were people who were the most peaceful people in the world. They were what you call the extreme left in the Israeli society, who were just, trying to reach out to the other side and engage and support them financially and give them job opportunities and anything you can imagine. And at the end, it came back. And today they understand. We don't have a partner, unfortunately, and it's very sad.
And many of those were young people at a concert as well.
Of course,
the media can be such a twisted game. They share what they want to share and twist what they want to twist. And thankfully, I had connections in Israel that was telling me what was actually happening on the ground as things were unfolding. And of course, then later I was able to get reports in showing some of the horrific, brutal moments that took place. And, in my life, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, even enemies. And I see that kind of behavior. So I can only imagine what it's like to live under that constant threat there. Well, I need you to know that as a church, Central Triad Church, as Christians, we're always praying for Israel. And we have an expectation that God's got big plans and I know that you do as well. But so when you come through something like that, how do you when everything calms down, how do you as a family, how do you as a nation, but let's start with just you personally, begin to recover from something like that? And I know, like you just said, it brings up even memories going back almost 80 years, which is not that long ago, as well.
Right. So just to clarify, obviously I wasn't alive 80 years ago, but I actually was physically at the concentration camps in Auschwitz. I was there as a high school delegation to really see the horrors, because we want to understand that history can repeat itself, and we're aware of this anti-Semitism and different things that are going on today in the world. So first of all, we appreciate your support and your prayers and your good thoughts and your kindness, and it's not taken for granted. And to the second part that you mentioned, I have to say that it's been a long journey, because first of all, at that point, it took several months to actually go into Gaza and really take care of the root of the problem in the most delicate way, in the most sensitive way, in the most humane way. You mentioned that the media could twist things around, and that's what they've been doing, but I can assure you, being an officer and supervising what was going on, morality was in the highest form that it appears in any army in the world, and that I can stand behind what I say, despite the rumors and despite the twisted and media twists. We were there for several months. I was there personally for almost a year, fighting in the front lines. So that was stage one. And then we had other areas that we had to take care of. Basically, the Hamas was just a small little pawn in the game. Iran, as we know today, was the master plan. They were planning a massive attack together, combined forces, Iran, Hezbollah in the north.
I heard that. I did hear that.
Yes. This was a known plan that they had already, which miraculously, I could say, not miraculously, but a miracle in disguise, but Gaza was the only threat that we had at the time. Managed to stabilize the area. We could actually take care of other areas slowly, gradually. So we're still at war today. We just had attack by Iran, Israel recently, and the Hezbollah is attacking all the time in the north. And it's not over yet.
Right.
But I can tell you that I think, first of all, in that site that you mentioned, the Nova Festival site, which is a very famous place, if you ever come to Israel, if you ever bring delegations or people that come, you can contact me and I could give you a tour of the area. You just go for yourself. You're going to see a lot of signs there of young people, faces, people that were innocent people. We're just really looking to just be with friends and have a good time. I have a lot of students who were killed in that festival, unfortunately, people that I knew. A lot of students that were killed in the war in general. And it's very difficult, because I remember now, when I come back now, it's really one of the first places we actually were there. Before it became a famous site with signs, we were actually there with piles of bodies, burnt cars, smells. Really, everything's horrific. And I think that mental health is a big thing today in Israel. We've been traumatized. We've been through a lot. We're focusing a lot on that aspect now. But I think that God has some kind of, I call it a medicine of life, I call it. It's a medicine of life. The power, what you always remind yourself is the power of life is more powerful than the power of death. And that, I think, is a message. I think this amazing delegation that we've created here through real friendships of good people, good hearts. Hearts connect, good hearts connect. This is what I feel. And I think that is the most amazing medicine Hashem has for the world. That's the message. The power of life is much more powerful than the power of death. And our enemies, and again, I think the world is facing a big, again, I can't call it, this name or that name, but the world is facing a very big challenge.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a challenge in faith.
Yes, sir.
We have enemies that don't see eye to eye with what I'm representing.
Sure.
The two of us together, and what you represent, the world, believes that the power of life is more powerful than the power of death, and there's other powers in the world that believe the opposite.
Right.
And they want death. I was
Long
asking
for death. Yeah.
I was asking people here in this delegation if they've ever heard of the term shahid. Shahid is an Arab term which is used by our enemies of mothers who on national television, they say out loud and they say, I wish for my son to be a shahid. A shahid means someone who's going to go blow himself up in a shopping mall like you have in Israel, in a bus, just randomly in the street. That's my wish, my death wish for my son. Can you imagine such a thing?
Oh, I couldn't.
And these are enemies. And I have to say, there are good people there as well.
Yeah.
And we have good neighbors there, and we're able to create.
I've witnessed that. I've been in Jerusalem where Jews, Christians, and Muslims all living together, working together, having economy together.
Right.
And it's so, but there are also people outside of that, like you're saying.
Right. And I think it's something the world is going to face as well. And just like you're backing us up now, and we're in the front lines, we're going to back you up as well. We feel that what we're doing is not just for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's for the world. It's really for the world.
Well, there's something I'd like to bring up. Maybe you heard this or not, but through some reporting that I received, there were signs, there were statements online that were made, and one of those statements was, "Today is a Saturday people, tomorrow's a Sunday people," and in other words, speaking directly to not only Judaism but Christianity as well.
Right.
There is a true hatred in this world that does long to destroy everybody that disagrees. That is not a good thing, a holy thing, or a godly thing. It's an evil thing. And so sometimes you got to call out what it is for what it is. But I can only imagine being there in that kind of moment, seeing it. I believe that we can still see miraculous things. And as our church prays, as our people pray, as the world prays, and we should pray for peace.
Right.
And we are doing that. And I'm still expecting something to happen that will cause a great shift at some point in time. If you were to give I loved your statement about life is better than life is stronger than the power of death. What would be a final thought you might want to share with people as we're talking about this?
First of all, I want to give one example, or maybe two, of just explaining what that means. I said I'm a father of 7 young children. For me, just coming home from the battlefield, and taking off your sweaty clothes, taking a shower, and just sitting with your kids on the couch, have 7 little kids that are waiting for you, that are expecting you, that share with you, that love, that need you. The world needs you.
7
so you can't afford to just dwell in your own pain and sorrow, which exists. You have to step up, and you have to be more than that. And I'll tell you more than that. We know a lot of widows, young widows, 20-year-old widows. I know off the back of my hand, at least 20 young widows who lost their husbands at war, and it's happening all the time. And you know what? They remarry. And they establish beautiful families. And yes, the pain is still there. Yeah. But as I said, they're able somehow to move on. They find the strength, the inner strength that they have. And we're discovering supernatural powers that we have inside of us we never knew existed. So that's just one point. The second thing, as you asked, maybe to finalize, I think that if you look at the total, we're always trying to focus. There's a narrow eye. There was a story in the Tanakh, in the Bible, that talks about Bilaam, right? Bilaam, in the portion of Balak, and Bilaam, the Torah explains he had a narrow eye. He would focus directly on what's your pain, like what's your vulnerability, where are you weak. That's where he would focus all his energies. And we look at things in a wide way. We look at things in a wide angle. We're looking at perspectives of many, many years. The Jewish nations, it's been around for thousands of years. We've known good times, bad times. Been in exile. We returned to the land of Israel. And we know this is a long process. This is a long process, but we see eye to eye how we're being guided step by step. Yeah. And Israel today is thriving. And part of the delegation that we're involved here is promoting entrepreneurs. Israel's #1 when it comes to entrepreneurs and high tech and ingenuity and
Oh, it's
medicine.
incredible, yeah.
And it's really a world empire, and it's unexplainable because when you look at the size of Israel, which is basically like a size, maybe a third of a size of an average state in the United States, not even a third,
Yes.
maybe even a
You're
tenth.
right.
It could be nothing.
Yeah.
Rhode Island, both, I think,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. And you look at the size. We're talking about, a maximum 10 million people. If you
Right.
include everyone together.
All the world focuses on that one little
Everyone's
spot.
focusing on this little spot
Yeah, I know.
in the world, and basically Israel's thriving. The economy is blooming, sky high, which is unexplainable. All the reports, all the new, people that were trying to foresee what would be financially were describing Israel collapsing and losing everything through this war, and the opposite happened, which is unexplainable. I don't know how to explain it. And everything is just blooming. So there's two sides. If you come to Israel, you're going to see a lot of good. A lot of
Right.
good,
Oh, it's
good
beautiful.
people, good hearts,
Yeah.
goodwill, and there's a lot of ingenuity. And also, on a personal note, I live in a community, as I said, mentioned in the desert in Dimona. We're very, very involved in a lot of projects, socially, education, and just doing good things in the world. And that kind of just keeps you going.
Yeah.
So,
That's a great thought, man. Powerful to hear. I was with the Israeli ambassador about 3 weeks ago, and he told a story of losing his son
Right.
in Gaza in the tunnels there, and it was so moving to hear that. And so,
Right.
It was just been a privilege to sit down and talk with you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
It means so much to us, and we look forward to talking to you again one day soon. God bless you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We love you all. We'll see you soon here on the Michael Shane Kelly Show.
thank you very much. All right.
Thanks, buddy. Good job.
You're
Thank
good.
You, man. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.